Well, howdy folks, and welcome back to the garage. Today we're having a special presentation regarding the new Russian tanks that are coming out in update 1.11 very soon. Trademark. Okay, so we've got, I think you recognize this big fella here, the KV2, the Tier 6 Russian Heavy. We've got the KV13, Tier 7 Russian Medium, and the Object 140, a new Tier 10 Russian Medium. So, without further ado, let's go back to our KV2 here and get into the goods. KV2 is a Tier 6 Russian Heavy with middle-of-the-road armor for its tier, effective armament, and typically blah mobility. So, as we look at the armor, we can see on the turret front here that there's 75 millimeters, and looking at the front of the hull here, we can also see that there's 75 millimeters there. And as we swing around in typically slow Russian Heavy fashion, we'll get here to the side of the turret, which we can see is 75 mils as well. And then the hull is also 75 millimeters. And we swing the big tank around towards the back of the tank. We can see here that the rear of the turret has 70 millimeters of armor, and the rear of the hull also has 70 millimeters. And while this armor is kind of middle of the road for its tier, it is capable of getting some bounces in there for you. Moving on to have a look at the top gun available for the KV2, we can see there's a 107mm ZIS-6 weapon with a rate of fire of 6.19 rounds per minute. Not too bad. Regular armor piercing will penetrate 167mm. You crank in some APCR and that bumps up to 219mm, and that's pretty decent for a Tier 6. Average damage is 320 hit points with a dispersion rate of 0.45. That's pretty bad. But I have still made some good long shots over distance with this tank. The hand of Stalin, I guess, and all that. And then the aim time, 3.4 seconds. Abysmal. You'll want the enhanced gun laying drive here for this gun. Another popular gun option is the 152mm M10 gun, which is capable of dispensing some amazing amounts of damage. Moving on to KV13, we find a tank that has a decent health pool, mobility, effective armor, and an effective armament choice. Frontal turret armor of 100mm and frontal hull armor of 120. Swinging around to the side here, we can see that the turret sides are 90 mils and the hull sides are 85. As we swing around to the rear of the tank, we also see that the turret rear is 90mm and the hull rear is 85mm. Well, that's pretty decent armor, and it is definitely capable of bouncing shots to protect you during the fight. Looking at the top gun choice for the KV13, we can see we've got an 85mm D5T-85BM with a rate of fire of 9.68 rounds per minute. That's pretty good. Regular armor piercing will penetrate 144mm, and APCR bumps that up to 194. With an average damage of 200 each. Dispersion of 0.37 is not that good, but very workable. Aim time, pretty run-of-the-mill, 2.3 seconds. Will certainly work with that as well. Yeah, moving on to the Object 140, finally, the Tier 10 offering that's coming with the new update. We can see that the turret front is 240mm, hull front 100mm. Swing around to the side of the turret, 187. That's pretty good. Side of the hull, 80. Yeah, you know, not bad. As we get to the back of the tank, 65 for the rear of the turret and 55 for the rear of the hull. And while overall the armor in this tank is sufficient for sure, it's the turret that really shines, and you will have no problem with this protecting you in battle. Hull down may be where you want to be if you have to trade shots. Now, the gun on the Object 140 is quite good. We can see here is a 100mm U-8TS with a rate of fire of 9.09 rounds per minute. Pretty good. APCR is a standard ammo for this gun, and that has 264mm of penetration. You can really crank that up with heat shells, 330 mils, and your average damage is 300 hit points per shot. This gun has a dispersion rating of 0.35. Not bad. You can certainly work with that. Aim time is quite good at 2.1 seconds. Gun depression for the 100mm is -6 degrees, and while that's not really fantastic, you will find situations where you can work with it. You can get hull down a bit and use that. Also, the combination, I think, for this tank of its gun and its really good mobility will make this thing a very effective fighter, and I think that it will become a fan favorite in no time at all. Well, folks, that's our very quick preview of these 3 new tanks coming out with the soon-to-be-released update 1.11 for World of Tanks Blitz. See here, we've got the KV-2 at Tier 6 Heavy. We've got the KV-13 here at Tier 7 Medium. And, last but certainly not least, the Object 140. And this is the Tier 10 Medium offering. So, looking sharp, like I say. It's just a quick preview. After the update is out, we'll be able to do some better reviews of these tanks and give you a better look into how they really work and operate. Well, folks, if you like these videos, please consider hitting the thumbs up underneath. And if you really like these videos, why not subscribe? You'll get a notice every time I put out a new video, and that way you don't miss out on the new content. All right, folks, thanks very much for coming by and watching. I will catch you next time.